Welcome back to E3 on Twitch. I'm Anna Prosser. It's been great hanging out with you. This is our yearly tradition of getting to talk about games, and the next one coming up is one of the ones I have been absolutely the most excited about. Like you, probably most of you, I adore animals. I love animals in games. I love taking care of animals, and that's what Planet Zoo is going to offer us. I'm sure you guys have seen the commercial playing over and over here on the E3 Twitch broadcast, and I, for one, have seen things I love in it every single time. So please get your animal emotes ready to create a zoo in chat, because we're going to talk about this game that not only is about having animals in a zoo, but is also about conservation. It's about learning about animal welfare. These are things I'm super passionate about, and I cannot wait to get into this interview. Let's check out the trailer right now. Planet Zoo. I again am Anna Prosser, and I'm joined by my co-host O'Kadrian. How's it going, buddy?
I'm awake.
Yes?
Yeah, lots of coffee.
There is always time to be awake for animals. We also have Lisa and Bo here to talk to us about Planet Zoo. There's no interview that is not improved by plushies, so thank you guys. I appreciate you bringing them. They're actually tagged Planet Zoo. These are actually like
and
Planet
they have
Zoo official.
little Wikipedia information inside, so you can learn more about the animal.
So it actually says African elephant, which I know because of the ear size.
Yeah.
I know a lot. I learned a lot about animals as a child. And it says an African elephant's tusks grow throughout its life. An adult male's tusk can grow 7 centimeters per year. Huh. So I know this is a huge focus of Planet Zoo, is learning about animals and learning how to invest in conservation and animal welfare. Can you tell us why that was an important part of developing this game right off the bat?
Yeah, so for us, when we're talking about zoos, what we're really trying to embody is all those principles of a modern zoo, where conservation and education are, you know, the key points of daily life, and your animal welfare is all the way at the forefront of that. And that's not just for the player, but that's also for your guests. Your guests are going to come into the zoo, and they don't just want to see the pretty animals, they also want to learn more about them and understand them. And those are all things that we really try and push for in this game.
I love that. And I mean, there are some games that I want to not be like real life, but a game like this, that's exactly what I want. I want this to be like real life, where I, as a zoo goer, would want to go and learn how I can invest in ecology and invest in conservation. So I'm stoked about that. And I know, Adrian, you have played Planet games before, and you've been excited even about the gameplay mechanics.
Absolutely.
What are you looking for here?
I think one of the most important things to me is that in Planet Coaster, one thing that's super beneficial is the fact that you can craft a lot of your own stuff. You can kind of create your own environment using the tools that are there. And I was kind of reading about how in this game you can do the same thing, except now you have animals interacting with those same things that you built. And they're not static animations where if it's this structure, it'll be this animation. They're reacting on the fly with the way they want to. How does that work?
So all your animals are going to be interacting with player-defined surfaces, terrain, water. And in the case of some of our primates, you know, they enjoy a good little climb. You'll be able to build your own climbing frames piece by piece. So you won't be putting down one big built climbing frame. You're actually going to be constructing it for them. So something in which you can express your creativity is actually going to feed back into the gameplay. That thing you build, you know, Western chimpanzees are actually going to be running on top of it, and I think that's one of the best parts about the game.
I saw a phrase that said the creativity is the gameplay. Is that what you mean by that?
Yeah, all your creativity will feed into the management. If you have a habitat, your animal is going to have certain expectations of what that should look like. For instance, if we have a crocodile, it's going to expect a certain amount of soil, a certain amount of water, and the way you lay that habitat out is not just going to look pretty, it's also going to make it happier. When you're painting different terrain on, you're actually going to, in real time, see the sliders go up on the percentage of land that animal wants in its habitat. So it's a really good kind of feedback system to show you that everything you put in matters to the animals and to the guests.
Okay, so here's the thing. Here's one of the elements that I'm excited about is maybe not like real life, right? Because I want my dog to be the happiest animal in the entire world, right? And I have certain cues that I observe, but she can't tell me how happy she is. But you're saying there are sliders that will show me animal contentment, is that right?
Yes.
Yay! So I get actual real-time feedback from the animals so that I can and make them the happiest animals in the
They
world.
have about 4 categories of welfare, and all of these categories subdivide into more detailed management. And not just will you be able to see it through the menu, you'll also hear it. Some of the animals, when they're hungry, they'll start making noises.
Oh my gosh,
That's
We have, we have
can
some
see the
African
sliders,
wild dogs, to go back to your dog analogy. They will be whimpering and whining when they're hungry. So as a player, you will get these audio cues as well as the actual menu cues to tell you something's wrong. So you can go and fix it.
What were you saying, Bo?
Oh, you could just see the sliders on the.
Oh, there
they are.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
And it all updates in real time. So when you're adjusting something in the habitat, you can see the sliders changing and moving, and it's the most satisfying thing to watch.
That's so cool.
On the subject of customization, too, I have to wonder, as a streamer, people love interactivity, right? And I also wonder about naming conventions. So if I have a certain sub that I'm in love with and I want them to be my zebra, or if I have a certain person that I don't like as much, I want them to be like my coffee shop or something instead, right? Well, how's that work in the game?
So your animals will come in with names that are given to them. However, you can change them.
Hey.
And the names that they come in with will be relevant to their country of origin.
Oh.
So that's a nice little touch that
Education.
we've got. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that I was even learning, speaking of education and of animal welfare, is we saw the zebras and the wildebeests in the same enclosure, and you guys were telling me that that was intentional. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yes, so we'll be doing mixed habitats. Essentially, if your animal would benefit from living together with a different animal, we want to encourage that. And plain zebra live very well together with black wildebeest because in the wild, their complementary behaviors help them to detect predators. So by putting them together, we consider them to be enriched, and that's really positive for their welfare.
Oh, cool. I've seen the word enrichment around this game a lot. What does that mean?
Yeah. There's loads of different enrichment items in Planet Zoo. So I don't know that we're passing through the demo a little bit here, but there's a couple of things that you can see that are items for the animals to interact with, just to keep them from, because you have needs like social needs, hunger, all of that will be there, but also enrichment, of course. You don't want them to get bored. You want them to have a good, happy, healthy life in the zoo. So yeah, we have all of that for everyone as well.
Yeah, we've essentially gone and talked to zookeepers and asked, right, how do you keep this animal mentally engaged? Because even if it has a really nice habitat, you want it to be able to do things and have activities. So we'll be looking at enrichment feeders, where the animal has to work to get to their food. The giraffe, for instance, has a cone thing. You have to get in with their tongue to get to the food. And because that's part of what they would do in the wild, it contributes to their enrichment.
Right.
And that's also ranging to toys. You can see your African wild dogs playing with a box and stuff. So there's a lot of things for them to have fun with.
Your face was so great, Adrian. You're just like, oh, I want to watch a dog play with a box so bad.
I like animals so much, and I like the idea that this game caters to the idea of what it's like to go into a zoo, because a lot of times you go to a zoo and you go to like the cheetah exhibit and not doing anything, and people go, make the cheetah do something, and the game does the same thing. From what I've heard is that sometimes the cheetah is going to lay down because that's what they do.
It's funny that you mentioned the cheetah, because we've been running the demo behind closed doors, and the cheetah is literally the least cooperative animal in the entire zoo. We've had only one demo where we went into the habitat, and it was using a scratching post. Every other time, they've just been lying down like, nah,
They're lounging.
make me do it.
Can you capture that? Like, there's like a screenshot thing you can do, or a video capture that you can do?
Yeah, you can take screenshots in game and stuff, so yeah. You can look at your cheetahs being disobedient to you the entire time. It's really good fun.
It's like I'm a cat at home.
Yeah.
Okay, Adrian's like planning to print these out and frame them, put them on the wall.
Entrance to my house, going to the bathroom, it's going to be nothing but planets the entire time.
Amazing.
I mean, we've had tons of questions, so obviously we've kind of been ignoring what's going on in the demo, but are there any things in the demo that you really wanted to point out that we missed?
Well, you've timed it really well. I think I mentioned climbing frames earlier, but here you can see a first look at some of our primates. So these are the Western chimpanzees, and they're a highly intelligent social animal, so they have a lot of enrichment needs that you're going to have to take care of, and one of those is climbing. So the climbing frame that you saw there, that one is built piece by piece. That's one beam that we're using, one platform that we're using, all put together and kind of arranged so that your chimps can have a lovely time on it.
Yeah.
Every time I look at them, my heart just says I love them and I want to protect them.
I know.
I am so excited to get into this. So when we get our hands on the game, you said that, what was the date?
5th of November.
5th of November. Okay, great. And what kind of features are we going to specifically look for at launch? What are the cool things that we're going to be able to start playing with right away?
So habitat construction is going to be really fun to play with. You will also be able to build buildings just like you did in Planet Coaster. Ultimately, your complete creative control. I think one of the fun parts is also going to be researching your animals, finding out more about them, fine-tuning all their habitats and all their food down to, you know, the perfect degree. I think there's a lot of management and depth for the player to explore, and I can't wait for everyone to get their hands on it.
I think I saw that there's specific focus too on that this is going to be a great game to stream. Do you have any tips for streamers and people who are going to want to play this game on Twitch?
Ooh, I would say try different ways of playing. There's the campaign mode, so there's a whole story mode with lots of characters and exciting things happening, so you can go through that. And then, of course, there's sandbox mode as well, where you can explore all on your own time, release all the animals that you like. Some people at the party yesterday were telling us about, you know, having a park full of wolves or a park full of dogs or zebras or anything, so you can do whatever you like. As Lisa said, everything is piece by piece, so there's different themes as well. In the demo that we just showed, there was a little bit of the African theme and a little bit of the North American theme. There's going to be loads more. So yeah, there's going to be lots for people to get their hands on. Yeah.
I can't wait to make Dog World.
Oh yeah.
All